I'm Edward Entsminger with in the Department of Sustainable Bioproducts with the Forest and Wildlife Research Center and the College of Forest Resources at Mississippi State University. And I'm here in the field at a site location to talk about the amazing world of termites. Termites are extremely beneficial in nature. However, the problem occurs when they get into our homes. I want to share with you some of the habitat and the environment of where termites live at. Right here, as you can see, this brush pile is a perfect environment for where termites can reside and live. What I've done is I've taken a hatchet and I've gently busted into this wood, as you can see, and from there you can see some of the termites. They make rows and columns. They eat mainly the early wood. Each termite has a unique role to play. There's soldiers, workers, there's kings and queens. The soldiers obviously defend the colony from anything from ants to worms to other beetles and other insects. Whereas the kings and the queens are the ones that reproduce and to spread the colony. Termites usually have a kind of a tannish color look to them. They're so amazing because what they do is they break down all this organic matter and all this dead dead wood products. And so you can also think about how they interact in our homes. Our homes are made up of about 15 trees, usually southern yellow pine wood and southern yellow pine tree products. And with that, termites only eat wood. Wood for breakfast, wood for lunch, wood for dinner. And if they get hungry for a snack, they're going to eat wood as well. And so that's all that they eat. They don't eat soil, they don't eat grass. And so by understanding our homes are all made out of wood. Even if you think you have a metal house or a metal building, as some schools are built out of steel and concrete, there's also wood products in there that are holding up some of the foundation and some of the walls and things like that. And so termites can get into your homes in that regard. But with the termites being out in nature, you really want to be able to look under some kind of bark or something like this. This would be a good place for termites to also live. Termites need moisture, just like plants need moisture as well. But they also prefer it to be about 70 degrees warm, and it's about a nice 75-degree temperature outside right now here in April. And so that's two of the requirements so far that termites need. They also need oxygen, just like you and I. So very basic requirements. We need oxygen, they need moisture, they need it about 70 degrees temperature, and they also need some kind of like home. And so their home is either this bark that I'm pointing at here, or these down trees and some of this brush that's all right here beside me. And so those are some of the habitat requirements that termites are required to live. Here I've moved to a pile of lumber that's been sitting outside for several years, and I came to this site yesterday and found a whole bunch of termites. And here this morning, as you can see, here are the winged termites. This is either the kings or the queens that are flying to go to another site. They don't have really strong wings, and so they prefer if they can fly on a day where there's not as much wind, and it's not very windy out right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to gently lift up this piece of wood, and I'm going to flip it over, and we can really see some of the termites in here. You can see how moist this wood is. You can see that there's lots of water here. You can see the flight stage of the termites. Not all termites will fly, but you can see some of these right here that are moving around pretty quickly. Termites lay down a pheromone trail, and what that is basically a chemical that termites can do to basically come back to their location. Very similar to ants and bees. they all put down this chemical, this pheromone smell, so they can either go find their food and come back and bring the food back and forth to their own place where they live at. The importance of this pheromone is what I just talked about. But when we're talking about in our homes, we want to make sure that we keep our wood dry. As you can see, this wood was very wet. If wood is exposed to elements like snow and wind and rain and sun, it'll get wet, it'll get dry, and that constant fluctuation of moisture really causes fungi to grow, as well as like ants and termites and things like that to also come and to eat the wood and to degrade the wood and break it down. Termites and other insects are decomposers. With them being called decomposers, they're basically breaking down that wood element or different parts of whatever they're eating. Specifically, what we're talking about here is termites. In your home, ways to prevent termites from really getting in and destroying your home is you want to keep your house very dry. So if you have a leaky faucet under your house that's dripping, or you have a hose outside that's constantly dripping and leaking a little bit, you want to get that fixed immediately. That water will attract the termites to come to your house and to start eating at your walls and eating at your foundation and things like that. Also, you want to make sure that you keep your house at kind of a fluctuation of temperatures. Like I said earlier, termites like temperatures about 70 degrees year-round. And with it being 70 degrees year-round, that's a perfect environment for underneath of our houses, our basements, our crawl spaces. We typically keep them around 70 year-round. Colder in the summer and hotter in the winter times. And so termites really are attracted to that. If you want to find termites out in nature, like I said, you can go to down logs, down brush piles or wood stacks like this that somebody may have left out in their house or behind their yard. Termites are one of the most destructive insects that we have in North America. They cost on the magnitude of about $1 billion a year in damage. In some places, as much as $7 billion in damage. The ones that I showed you earlier were subterranean termites, and this is their geographic range here in the United States. You can see down here, this is the most heavy infestation down here in Mississippi and Louisiana and kind of the southeast. As you get a little further north where it gets colder, their prevalence is more kind of moderate to slight. And then as you get even higher up into like almost up into Canada and up near Michigan and New York and Maine, they're near non-existent. And so you don't even hardly see termites when you start getting way up into the boreal forest area. Talked about termites having a life cycle. They have a similar life cycle, as you can see, very similar to like bees and other insects. They all start out as eggs. And those eggs turn into be either larvae or sometimes even a supplemental reproduction that'll turn into either a king or queen if they need more termites. The larvae will turn into either a worker, a soldier, or a nymph. That nymph will turn into the winged reproductive stage, as we saw earlier outside. That reproductive stage will eventually lose its wings, and it'll either turn into either the king or the queen. The queen will lay the eggs, and then the workers will do most of the work, but the soldiers are the ones that kind of destroy the wood overall. Here's a couple pictures of some different types of termites. You can see the one on the right-hand side is the winged termite, the winged adult termite, and the one on the left has both the soldier, the one with the larger head, right here, and then the smaller one right here, more of a kind of a tan or blonde colored, is just the worker. There's a little difference between a winged termite and a winged ant. You can see from this photo right here, the winged termite on top, their wings are even, and they generally go straight back. And also the body segment of a termite has 3 distinct parts. but it really only looks like one distinct body segment. Whereas the winged ant down here, you can see a distinct 3-segment body. You can see the head, you can see a segment where it's like where you can distinctly see it. You have the thorax in the middle, and then you have the abdomen down here at the very bottom. And their wings, to tell the winged termite from the winged ant, the winged ants have 2 different size wings. They have a smaller wings, which are usually underneath. You can kind of see from this diagram, they're underneath here. And they have larger wings on the outer side. They both have paired wings, but the wings on the ants are 2 different sizes. The body segments are in 3 distinct segments, 1, 2, 3, whereas the termites look like one complete body segment, and they have paired even wings.